Dumoulin takes a look. Deflected, scores! Letang! Could you script it any better than this?
Pitch it to Najee Harris. Harris sidesteps, gets to the sideline. Najee Harris dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Steelers!
I don't think I expected anything less.
That's unbelievable. It is absolutely incredible.
Playing like a benefit.
Well, everybody's around
Chicago.
80 years old that's in Oh, okay. What camera? Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Avenue. Thank you for tuning in and watching us. Thank you for being on Facebook. We're still getting closer to that 7,500 followers, so I appreciate all of you. Thanks for interacting with us. We appreciate that. On YouTube, we're at 400 again. Smoking Jim's acting up a little, but we'll bring him on shortly. And thank you for being on YouTube. We need a few more likes, so a few more followers, so appreciate it. And I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Smoking Jim Frazier's here. Mike. Quadruple duty. Then Linda brought in.
Yay!
Okay. Oh, were they good? White on white. These gotta be Bethel Bakery. Oh my. You know I like eating on camera. Thank you. And I can talk a little bit with some food in there. But yeah, thank you, Linda. It's been 1 year. The World Traveler comes in every so often. And we just appreciate her. We don't have all our young high schoolers are doing some band thing or something at school. So I gave them a permission slip. Linda came in, she's running 2 cameras. Nick's running the whole show. So we replaced everybody today, and I'm gonna test Linda on a little promo we gotta do. And my neighbor down the street, Nancy, she has rescue dogs, and it's let's see, I can't see how it looks there. Look at that, she got it centered. Look at how that red's a nice background there. How's that, my artistic camera person? All right, I'll read it for you. Hearts and Paws 19th Annual Pet Adoption and Care Fair. It's at the Christchurch 44 Highland Road, and it's Saturday, June 14th, 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Animals for adoption, pet products and services, raffle baskets and boutique, great festival food, kids corner, and animal art. Go to their website. I'll spell it CHRISTUMC.net/pet ministry. And I'll give one more shot with that with Linda. I tried not to move it too far away. I guess it looks good. We're going to go to the promos in 10 seconds. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our promos. We appreciate it and support them. And yeah, check that pet adoption thing out. And it should be a great time. Their 19th annual. Chuck Chief McElroy's watching. Ralph Williams said, hello, guys. Happy birthday to one of our biggest fans and a grandmother to a couple of the people here, Teresa Mariano.
Happy birthday.
My favorite
Happy
mother-in-law.
birthday.
Yeah, and boy, can she cook. I've eaten some of her food,
man.
so I understand that.
Unparalleled.
Yes. Just had to get that out, and nothing left on the cupcake. That was wonderful. 3 bites.
You know, I've not been into an Italian restaurant since I met that woman. Why on
understand
earth
that.
would I go to an Italian restaurant? It's the best Italian food in the world eating
And it's
right
all
there.
fresh.
It's all fresh, like right there at her house.
And you can help grate the cheese. Get the big Parmesan. I used to help my ex-mother-in-law. Smoking Jim doesn't know. They grade like a 5-pound, half a block of cheese, and I'd have to feed it into the grater.
There you go.
You know what I just discovered?
You want to be a butcher?
Banquet frozen spaghetti. Is that good? Oh, is that good? $1.24.
Well, you know how unhealthy that is for you. Ann Harder said, yes, happy birthday, Teresa. So the Teresa fan club's out there. Oh, that cupcake came back. Thank you, Bethel Park Bakery. All right, let's get down to sports. You know, we talk sports most of the time, and Les Smoking Jim goes down a rabbit hole. He doesn't know what that is, but what's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier, who's not a Pirate fan?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. Good catch.
Whoa.
Good catch. Good catch. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Harry Hardball. Harry Hardball's in the house. Harry Hardball's going to play in front of a packed stadium. You guys know him as Nick. Nick, I know you love baseball. But I just don't see you getting a hit on Saturday. You've been away from the game too long. You're going to be facing 80 and 90 mile-an-hour pitches, and you've been practicing off a tee. This ain't golf. This is baseball, Nick. They say the hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball. They say the last thing that leaves you in sports is the bunt. So if Nick can lay down a good bunt, that may be his only chance of making contact. Big Ben is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's been away too long. He can't come back. And you're not going to get a hit, Nick.
Smoking Jim, I got to do a disclaimer.
And I love him.
Well,
People have been lying to him.
Disclaimer about my best friend. He's one of the nicest guys. Still don't know what he does for a living. He used to say he's an honest man.
Would you bet that he'll get a hit?
I'll bet he hits. And one thing I have to say is Smoking Jim has never played baseball. He only learned baseball from October 11, 2011 when we founded our show. So anything he says is absolutely zero. He wouldn't even know. And with no further ado, here comes Nick.
What's he saying about me?
Everything. So I'm debunking you. I got to defend Nick. He had a home run at the Little League and a baseball game and has a bat and everything.
He was great at one time.
You never did anything like that. So anything he said, ignore it. We'll have to delete that from the TV tape. But thanks for watching and tuning in. Smoking, you're done. Eat that white on white cupcake.
Can't wait.
All right. Nick Callis, thanks for coming in. What's on your mind? And being in control room and running the cameras.
Yeah, we're doing a new thing at BPTV tonight because innovations never cease here.
Okay.
As long as I'm involved. So I got our VMix system, so I'm directing the show tonight. So look, now the camera's on me. Look at that. Hello.
Look at that.
Now the camera's back to the wide shot. How about that? You want to see the little BPTV logo
Yes.
come up? Look at this. There it is. There it comes up right now on screen. Bam.
Wow.
You want to give Olive Oils another shout out? Bam. Here it comes across the screen. So
Yeah, no pizza tonight. Sorry. They weren't open.
well, they still sponsor. Yeah, we like them. We're
No,
good.
I'm
So-
loyal to them. Frank's my man.
Right. So, so I'm just doing that tonight. So I'm a little scrambly because we lost our loyal volunteers. Michael and Marco and Chance.
The whole family.
Yeah.
They're the whole family.
Yeah,
They're-
Jada couldn't make it out tonight either. Very sad.
Right. They're
So-
the Italian mobsters helping Pittsburgh Sportsline.
Yeah. So instead of being in the control room, though, I'm like, hey, I know things. Why don't I just do it on here? So
All right. What's on your mind?
Geez, I don't know. It's been an eventful few days for me. But I did want to shout out one particular group of individuals. Over the weekend, I went out to West Mayfield in Beaver Falls, and I got to
Did
be
you
there.
say happy birthday to Joe Namath?
No,
It was his birthday the other day.
Was it? Well, I didn't know that. So, no, but it was cool. So I was able to.
I know sports.
It's something that 93.7 The Fan does to promote Little League players and just showcase them and bring awareness to play ball and then the youth play baseball and softball. So their umpire though didn't show up for the game, so I was like, you know what, I'll do it.
Wow.
And so I did. Yeah, wow, how about that? So I mean, it was really cool to do that and to be there. So I mean, that's just something that I got to experience over the weekend, which was cool. Like I fell in love with umpiring again, getting to do it. That age they still struggle to throw strikes a little bit, so it's a little rough. And I did probably 400 squats because they're short. So and I get down because I got to see the strike zone. You can't really take a knee.
Hey Nick, I know I grew up in Green Tree, and they'd ask us after Little League and stuff to be umpires. So I remember exactly what you're saying because the minor leaguers and everything else were very small.
Right. So, so I mean that was a slight challenge, but
No,
I mean,
way to go, way
it
to
was
step
good. But
up.
I mean, I'm in shape now, and I feel like fantastic. So when this guy over here, hold on, let me make sure you're on camera. When this guy over here says that I'm not gonna get a hit, hey, just be careful. Be careful. Do I not look more in shape than I was 6 months ago? Look at this.
You're in shape, but
Well,
you haven't played.
hold
in
it.
a while.
Here's
You're coming out of retirement.
I heard. Hold on.
Go ahead.
I heard his insult because
Yeah.
he said you hitting off a tee, and I'm
you
just
still butt.
Ask him how you hold a bat to bunt.
Yeah, I'd actually love to watch you do that. Hey, I got baseball stuff in my car. It's still going to be sunny. It's always sunny in Monroeville. Let's go out to sunny Monroeville and play some baseball.
No,
wanna
right
hit
in the
off the
lot.
tee.
I'll get it on my phone.
I don't want to hit off the tee.
No, I'll pitch.
he'll
Then I'll
throw
pitch.
it
Then
at
I'll
you.
pitch to you. Yeah.
See,
I'll
he
throw
don't
it,
know
see?
baseball, right? You know what a pitcher does? They pitch the ball to you. You know what major leaguers and others do? They hit a ball off a tee, and they're hitting 450-foot home runs.
Yeah, T-Work's actually very good. T-Work saved me from getting cut my freshman year of college. I totally believe that. It's just you got to get back to fundamentals. And so when I don't have somebody to throw batting practice to me, Smoking Jim, I then will hit off a tee. But I do have people that throw me batting practice sometimes as well. I've done fielding drills. I've tried developing a knuckleball. So I'm having fun with it, and I'm definitely prepared. And I'm down 53 pounds from where I was 6 months ago. So
You look like Pedro Alvarez.
go ahead.
No.
No, I'm a little.
Not even close. Well, did anybody notice Smoking Jim's down about 82 pounds?
Yeah,
Linda, put that camera on him while he's laughing, because his jaws used to shake. Look, they don't anymore. Look how thin he is. That's my man. Whatever his kids are doing to him and his grandkids, it's working. I shout out to Smoking, and he gets negative. You see, I'm positive. He lost weight, and he can't find it. So we're good.
Yeah, bring it back over here. Back over. There we go. Perfect. Thank you, Linda.
I'm making Linda work a little.
Right. So, yeah, no, honest to goodness, though, I'm excited, and it's for a good cause. There was a little bit of a controversy as well. Bubba from 100.7 Stars manager. He's a coach for South Fayette High School when their season's going on, but he's been in charge of managing this team. And his co-host's husband, Melanie Taylor, Jason's his name. He's going to be on the team as well. He's the only one batting below me. I'm DHing and batting eighth in the lineup.
Wow.
And that's caused some controversy. People are upset. So, I mean, I don't know. But just to address that.
Why are they upset?
I'm going to play team. That's all I'm going to do. I got to play team. I got to go out there for my teammates. I definitely didn't create a burner account on X and start tweeting at Bubba like Michael Brewerly. No, didn't do that. Didn't do that for a bit. Nope, never happened.
Thanks for clarifying
So,
that.
no, didn't do that.
Tell them when and where it is. So they can
it's June 7th, so it's Saturday, and it's at 7 o'clock at Wild Things Park. I know Al's got something to do during the day. I hope you can make it out at night. You've abandoned me. You can come. You're very nice. You know, you'll be over Smoking Jim. No, it's seriously, though, it's for a good cause. I mean, Riley's Poorhouse in Carnegie burned down back in November.
Hey, I know it. My dad loved the place, loved Riley's myself, so I salute them. They're a great family tradition, bar, restaurant, and food.
Yeah, it's
and music.
It's absolutely it's something that I appreciate what they've done. I mean, I live right in Green Tree, so they're right down the road from me. So I mean,
right in
I appreciate
Carnegie there,
Joe
Main Street.
Joe Riley's a great guy. I mean, everybody's great there. So I mean, if you're gonna make fun of me playing baseball, that's one thing. That's fine. Even if I don't get a hit, all the ticket sales
You won't.
ticket sales will go toward the rebuilding efforts of Riley's Poorhouse, and that's what this is all about. I'm going to be a little selfish and try to relive my glory days of playing baseball, but in the end, this is about something that's a good cause. And if you want to watch Irish baseball, the team is from Ireland. It's the Ireland Wolfhounds, I believe is their name. So, I mean, they're from Ireland. So if you want to watch Irish people play baseball at a very nice park in EQT Park, where the Wild Things play in Washington, come on. And if you're in Bethel Park, I mean, it's right there, right? It's about 20, 30 minutes away, so come on.
Just down 19.
Yeah, but it's definitely for a good cause. Again, you can watch me relive my glory days, but it is for a good cause altogether. So,
well, thank you and good luck, Nick. I got money on you because Smoking Jim, I'll do this outside. I'll bet you throw 10 balls to him and he doesn't hit one.
Are they going to pitch to him underhand?
No. I'll pitch overhand to you, and I bet you don't hit one.
he accidentally asked a great question because there have been a lot of people that have asked, like, oh, this is just for fun. Like, it's just softball. And I'm like, no. It's really not. Like, we were playing
It's
baseball.
baseball.
Yeah, I had
That's
Neil Walker
incredible.
giving me some tips because they were throwing out there that I was going to play second. And he was giving me tips. He's like, yeah, Nick, I was scared bleepless whenever I started playing second. It was tough going from catcher to third with all the angles.
But
But
Mazeroski taught him.
yeah, so I mean, there's
Did
just
he?
oh yeah.
See, I know baseball unlike you.
So, like, no, I mean, it was great. And he was giving me a little pep talk over the phone because we have him on as a guest on Tuesdays. So,
No, he's great.
He's great. And I'm just like, Neil Walker's talking to me about this stuff.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So he's trying to calm me down. He's like, Nick, you got this. You're good. You seem talented.
Hey, I'm
All right.
betting money against him.
Do you actually want to wager on that? Like, over under half a hit. So you're betting that I'm going to get 1 hit or 0.
Well,
What do you want to bet on that?
No,
you want to take
zero. He's betting on 0.
I believe if you still bunt, but I don't think you can make it safely to the base.
I don't either, so I'm going to be swinging. So you want to make a bet? We'll bet $1. How about that? $1 over under a half. You take the under.
A Snickers bar.
You want to bet a Snickers bar?
That way I get something.
He's not allowed to eat that. He can't eat it. I don't know his regimen, but anybody.
But I'm only getting my stats from. You or Jada coming in telling me you went 8 for 8. Mike's a honest man. He gave me the shield.
I'm done. That's what's on my mind. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tony from Chick-fil-A. Smoking Jim is in the house. Pirates are a baseball team, just in case he needs to know. And then Marco Rodi. Hi, guys. I'll be back next week. Missed you guys the past 2 weeks.
All right, Marco.
Marco, congratulations to you. You're ending your band career and you're graduating. So we appreciate you. Sorry I was veering out to the other camera. 14 years trying to get the 1,000th show. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, Marco, we do miss you, but congrats on your high school career and your band career. All right, let's go to your dad. Mike Rodi, how do you follow your son?
How do you follow that? Well, I'll tell you how you follow it. You guys see hot off the press? Aaron Rodgers finally signed with the Steelers.
Who called it?
Seriously?
And you know what else? Of course he didn't. That's all a bunch of crap. He's never going to sign with the Steelers. I'm so sick of talking about this that I got to talk about it. All right? And I figured that was a good way to get y'all's attention.
You got mine.
I know.
Because I still say he'll be for right run training camp.
Well, you know what? I thought that too. But here's the way I look at this. This is why it's going to be a disaster if he does sign. I try to think of an analogy here. There's if you ask a girl to go to the prom, that's the best thing I could think of.
Okay.
Right? She doesn't owe you an answer, right? She technically doesn't owe you an answer. But wouldn't it be kind of like really kind of underhanded and kind of a low kind of thing to just drag you out? Say, this is on my time. I'm not really concerned about your calendar.
Wow,
I'm
what
only
an
concerned
analogy.
about my calendar. But she walks around the high school giving little clues and saying how, yeah, I might just be going with that guy. I might be.
Wow.
But you know what? It's on my time. It is not your concern. It's my time. See what I'm saying there? There should be a little bit of appreciation back and forth. Yeah. In this case, a little bit of professionalism.
You went deep on that. I love this
He does
analogy.
not owe the Steelers a thing. Nothing. However, he's obviously not said no. He's saying this is my own time. There's two kind of things at work here. This is a professional organization. This is a professional. And you know what? What is the deal here? Here's the problem. Do I think he's probably going to come here? I was like 90-10. Now I'm like 75-25. Because I'm having a difficult time wrapping my brain around the fact that someone would actually do this.
Yeah.
Would say, irregardless of their personal situation, I get it. But why wouldn't he have said yes to them? I think he likes the attention. He goes out on to McAfee's show. He goes here, he goes over there and drops these hints. Yeah. Like the girl does to the other girls, drives you crazy.
Right.
But there's an incredible lack of professionalism. So if he does sign, which I still think he's going to, that lack of professionalism is going to creep its way right back in. He's not going to talk to the Pittsburgh media. He's going to go on McAfee's show, and he's going to say whatever he wants behind this, behind that. Is it really worth it? I just don't think. I don't think it is. I'm really, really hoping the guy turns the page and ultimately says no, because this whole thing is really, in my opinion, I didn't think it was before, but it's crossing the threshold of really making them look bad. I'm still under the opinion he wanted to miss these volunteer sessions, but you know what? Would it really have been that big a deal for him to sign the deal and come in and hang out here for a couple of days, even if he didn't even practice? Just come in. So the guy has zero professionalism, zero respect for anybody else's process. That's obvious. So the fact that the Steelers are still having the door open for this guy makes me think more and more and more than since Dan passed away, this new guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Now, you make good points. One point, look at how he got treated with the Jets. He doesn't want that to happen here.
And
so that's why
everybody
he's
knows
doing
the
it.
difference between the Jets and the Steelers.
Right,
That's
except the last couple years, we haven't known who our quarterback starter is.
Yeah.
And we're a legendary franchise. Our credibility's in the toilet.
They would be able to regain their credibility by saying, "No, thank you, Aaron Rodgers. We're going to go with Rudolph." Because listen. I have no problem with them not going after Sam Darnold, not bringing back Russell Wilson, not bringing back Justin Fields, not doing this or that, because they didn't want those guys. If they wanted one of those guys, they would have got one of those guys. They didn't want anybody out there. They didn't want to draft anybody.
I saw NFL Live today. They said Sam Darnold on a 7-play, 7-on 2 interceptions. They're worried about him on June 3rd.
Yeah, the slipper went off of that guy in the last 2 games of the year. I mean, he went back to being Sam Darnold.
Right.
So they know
I knew you'd have a good
they
comeback.
know
That's
what
why
they're
I
they
bet
know
it.
what they're doing there, and they didn't want any of these quarterbacks, and they brought back Rudolph as the fallback option. But again, in my opinion, their credibility. I did not think this was the case a couple of weeks ago. I do now. And if he doesn't sign within the next, let's say, 7 to 10 days after these optional practices are over, and he keeps streaming
only
it
have
out,
3 this
it's
week.
like, what are we doing here? When what did the owner say 2 months ago? We're not going to wait forever. Well, that was 2.5 months ago. What can we categorize forever? Can we put some time frame around it? Because it's really, really starting to make them look bad. More than it was before. And I'm starting to lean with the guys like the Ryan Clarks of the world who are really calling out the Steelers on this, because it's, again, it's showing me more and more and more that the guy running the show now doesn't seem to really know as much as his dad did.
You missed some of my rants for the last few years that you've seen a business in a restaurant where a father or grandfather starts it, then their son takes over, then the grandson or granddaughter takes over, and they go out of business. Steelers are a 3rd generation from 1933.
But it's a different person, and he's got a different way of doing things. And I get that, but
You mean no losing season in 18 years? You mean
That's
that,
the worst
right?
record in history that means nothing.
The Penguins and the Pirates will disagree with you.
The Penguins.
Oh, the Penguins won a bunch of championships.
No, the Penguins.
How they've been doing? Like they fired their coach.
Smoking
and
Jim.
Been in the playoffs.
Not
They
only-
fired their coach. You don't know anything. You don't know much about the
Smoking
NHL.
Jim, not only does Smoking Jim not know baseball, he doesn't know the Penguins had the longest winning streak going to the playoffs.
How's the Jets?
With 18 years.
How's the Jets?
The Jets are.
Jets used to be a great franchise, like Mike said. They're a joke. The Steelers.
They were only
there
great-
is something to be said for that. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's. One second. I don't think it's gone completely in the tank with the Steelers. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is that instances like this, and what I guess my point to all of this, Jim, is if Rodgers does come here, it's going to be a circus. It's going to be a circus. What has he shown? He's shown that he has no respect for the Steelers openly. I don't care. It's my terms, not yours. I don't care. We're going to do this my way. You think that's going to change when he gets here?
No.
It's going to turn it upside down.
Brett Favre, he did the same thing.
Yeah, we didn't get him either. Go ahead.
You're speaking to him, trying to use logic. I have an idea for you.
I think he has his own twisted logic in there somewhere. It's called ego.
I'm going to try something. You ready? No, come back. Come back. Come back. You ready? You mentioned the Jets. Where are the NHL Jets from?
I don't know.
Bingo. I win.
The Atlanta
It was
Thrashers.
no contest.
That accomplished just as much as your conversation.
The Jets went to Arizona. Now they're in Utah, and the Thrashers went back to Winnipeg to be the Jets. How about that, Nick?
I like that.
I know you know that.
We got what we call a free-for-all right now. And Smoking Jim, I gave him extra time because he lost all that weight and can't find it. And he's trying to gain it back with a lollipop. How long will it take to get to that center chocolate on that?
No, this is gum. This is gum.
Oh, you got gum.
That's a gum
Well,
one in
then
the middle.
you'll get the
a
gum.
bubble pop lollipop.
All right, Peggy Rohde said, hi, everyone.
Yep.
What a handsome panel. Enjoying the show from Rochester, New York. Nick and Peggy Rohde. it's great being in Rochester, our biggest fans, but the Canadian wildfires, I posted a thing on Facebook. All the smoke is hitting us, and it's hitting Rochester.
I smelled it today.
So, yeah, and my son's up in American Cruise Lines. Drew's on a deckhand, and he's piloting a ship at night up there in the dark, and they're getting wildfire smoke coming in Boston. He said Boston's double the size of Pittsburgh, and it's very nice up there. He's been hitting the thing, checking out Ben Franklin's grave, Paul Revere, who Smoking Jim doesn't know in history. But, yeah, he was a great silversmith.
Boston's beautiful. My second
Paul
favorite
Haley's
city.
chiming in on this for us. Rogers has always missed OTAs at every team he's ever been on, whether injured, sitting out contracts, or just prima donna status. He never had the training or nutrition ethic of a great quarterback like Tom Brady, who played and won SBs in his 40s.
I would have rather Rodgers sign the deal before. If this is what it boils down to be, I would have rather he signed the deal before and simply say, I'm not coming to those. They are optional after all.
Yeah,
you know,
are.
a lot of people, the media get in and say, how dare that person
Best
not
point
be
of the
here?
night
Well, then
for
don't make them optional.
Yeah.
Right? They're optional. So
Right.
I'd rather he signed and say, I'm not coming. That I could respect. If that's what it turns out to be.
Right?
I didn't rag on the comments about Rodgers. I ragged on the comments that the Steelers are less than a great team. They've been great for 18 years.
I wouldn't.
Smoking Jim, your standards are so low.
They've
you don't
said
like Tomlin anymore, so you're trying to suck in with him because you lost weight and you can't knock him out. You got bigger. So I understand your logic. No disclaimer. Just ignore him tonight. I'm glad he's with us, and we'll see if he doesn't waste away by the end of the show. All right, what's on my mind? First up, we're having a 1,000-show celebration. July 15th, it's a Tuesday night. We're going to be at the Community Center in Bethel Park, right on Park Avenue. Just Google it. You can find it. We'll be there from 6 to 9. You can come in. We're going to have food and refreshments. If you want to call in Dave Cable at 412-831-3304. Tell him you'll be here. Because not everybody on TV, Nick, is on Facebook, so I'm promoting it all on Facebook, and we're doing social media.
Are we doing the show from?
Yeah.
Let's go! Engineering!
Yeah.
I get to work!
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. So we're going to do it. It'll be 6 o'clock. The doors open up. I'll be trying to do some interviews with VMix and everything for former guests, friends. If you're local and you've been watching my show for 14 years, thank you. I appreciate you. I want to thank Bethel Park, thank BPTV, Dave Cable, and all the great volunteers over 14 years. Without them, I'd be talking at home. So you made me the talking machine. And I used to just be called Al. Now they call me Machine all the time. They don't even mention my name. I got friends calling up, men and women, hey, Machine, how are you today? I go, I'm good. So this is quite an honor. I'm truly blessed, and never thought it would be like this. Smoking Jim asked me 2 years ago. He goes, hey, Machine, I know it was your birthday, October 11, 2011. How long did you think you'd do the show? Well, we had a mean guy that brought us together, and we had Smoking Jim and another guy. Chip came on in the third show. I said, I figured in January we'd be done because you supposedly live in Monroeville. And when we get snow, you ain't coming out here unless you're at a sweetie's house. He goes, really? You thought that we'd be done in January of 2012? I go, yeah. So every day, that's why I'm happy and I have fun. I've disagreed with Mike, but I loved what he said tonight for what's on his mind. His analogy of the prom. Who doesn't remember the proms and who you're going with and who wanted to go with this one and that one? Then they went with somebody else. But good analogy. And to get to Aaron Rodgers, he's so rich it doesn't matter. He's getting a pension check of $10 million. Kutch got $5 million pension checks for 3 years. He's doing something that Rodgers won't. He's still good in setting records. So that's good. Then I wanted to share, I usually watch NBA during the playoffs. So I watched the Thunder win. They had a great best record all year. They got young players. And guess what? The young players, instead of folding under pressure, they won games. Then we have McConnell connection. Susie
sir.
McConnell, one of the greatest women basketball
Yes, sir.
players. Tim McConnell, the dad. My dad was friends with him, legendary Chartiers Valley coach. My dad, before he passed away, said that T.J. McConnell could make it to the NBA,
Wow.
even though he was a little small.
Wow.
He said his ball handling and shooting and passing are unbelievable.
Wow.
My dad's looking down in heaven going, those Pacers won and McConnell helped out. So there's our Pittsburgh connection with basketball. I come from a basketball family. Even though I was a great pitcher, unlike Smoking Jim, I'll bring in, I found my collection of 2 no-hitters.
That's what's up.
And another game, I had 14 strikeouts.
Wow.
So my 1 no-hitter, 14 strikeouts, no hits. The other one, 11 strikeouts, no hits. Do the math with all those strikeouts in 18 innings, Nick.
Wow.
No, I'm good.
35.
Wow.
That was 35 strikeouts, buddy. That was
incredible.
legit. This arm could throw. Thanks for letting me brag a little and do that. I try to put a little personality into it, and you're all welcome. And guess what? Here's the cost. Don't give Smoking Jim $1 or anything to bet, but it's free. Absolutely free. All are welcome. We'll try to do some interviews if you want to come say hi or congrats. You want to ask Smoking Jim a question. We may even open it up after we do What's on Our Mind to questions from anybody there. We're going to try to provide a mic. And we got the technology with vMix and stuff. We can put some people up on the show with us. So I figured we got all the technology. I'm proud and honored. I'm going to use every technology we have to help salute you and making us what we are. And they go, how long are you going to do it? I said, as long as we have vMix and everything. If I can't walk, I can still talk. I guarantee I'll be talking till I die. So you got to put up with me for at least a couple more years. All right, we're going to go to Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Go.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, and Harry Hardball. Congratulations to the great B.B. Flannery. I got lost on my way to New Ken. That's why I was a little bit late. And I asked the gentleman, where's downtown? And they're like, you're here. Every building looked like it's ready to collapse. Levine, the Talking Machine. They still had a building with a sign that says Equibank on there. Equibank been closed for 40 years. Levine, the Talking
That was
Machine.
my bank.
I met the great mayor of New Kensington.
Me too.
And I asked him, where's the brick mason? I was feared for my life, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. I have been all over this country, Al Levine, the Talking Machine.
All right.
And I have never seen a basketball court in the downtown area. You know what I mean? Right outside Macy's. Al Levine, the Talking Machine. No way I was going to do. There's no way I would have let them name a basketball court in my honor in a place that looked like it's about to collapse. Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And then they had to stop the game because the train ran through mid-court in the basketball court. Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Just to talk about a few of the great players from New Ken: B.B. Flannery, Benji Pryor, Billy Varner, Chipper Harris, Greg Meisner, Tom Pipkins, Cookie Gilchrist, and the great Willie Thrower.
Smoking Jim, I made it
I had to
there.
get out of there.
I made it there before you. I came from Bethel Park, made it there in 47 minutes, right out Route 28, went to New Ken. They said it's near the library. The library has something you don't read called books. It was very nice.
Did you almost get hit by the train trying to cross to get to your car?
No. I parked in a parking lot on the same side of the street as the court and the library. It was very nice. What an honor. Imagine BB's a class guy. They call him the Godfather of New Ken. He played on these basketball courts. Same with Tom Pipkins, too. Two great guys. BB led the way. He had 81 points in grade school.
Yeah, junior high.
He set records. in high school and in college at Duquesne, and just a great guy, and his family was there. It was just great to see
Have you
everybody.
ever seen a basketball court in the middle of downtown?
Well, I
Of
did.
any city?
I did in Duquesne. Yeah, I did in Duquesne. Yeah.
It's definitely not like that odd. I don't know why you're.
What city have you been to? You're downtown Pittsburgh. Is there a basketball court on Fifth Avenue?
No.
That would be the equivalent. Boston. Is there a basketball court in the middle of town?
Is it just me, or is that
How
like
about
more,
Times Square in New York?
Is that more normal than you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not in the city, like not in like
That's the city.
not where there's like just like buildings. But
That's where it's at.
Yeah,
It's right
no.
outside of Macy's.
Let me clarify. I don't know. It was next to the library, but there were all kind of buildings, restaurants.
Wait.
Then they had a
Wait,
church there.
no.
I thought it was a free soup kitchen. It's a church. It's the biggest church in New Kent.
Well,
Wait,
why'd you eat the free soup? He had free soup because he's losing weight.
Listen.
No, it was downtown New Kent. That's true. Guess what?
I won't be going back.
No, wait, listen. Wait.
That
What?
bridge, I didn't know if I was going to make it across the bridge.
Hold on, wait. Is it? You're telling me there was a basketball court next to a library
Yeah.
in this city,
Yeah.
and you think that that's just the darndest thing?
I've been to every city that got a college football field.
Well,
I've never seen.
here's Smoking Jim. The 2nd Avenue, you go to Hazelwood, right? They have
I won't go there either.
They have basketball courts, and there's a library across the street right
I'll
there.
take your word for it.
Well, they also have shootings right at the convenience store right there too, but that's city of Pittsburgh, Hazelwood, right near Oakland. So I've seen a library and basketball courts. Unlike you, I watch stuff and see it. The bridge, it was a very nice bridge. It wasn't like the Fort Duquesne Bridge or the Fort Pitt Bridge, but it was a two-lane cars with a professional blue painted bridge, and it's downtown New Kent. You know, they had steel mills and everything, and they lost them all.
They had an Equibank too.
Well, they had you there, and Smoking Jim came after me, and then I meet a friend of mine there, and all of a sudden I look around, and Thin Jim was gone.
Oh my!
He was gone. And then BB thanked me for coming. He goes, I didn't think you'd come. I go, I respect you. And I said, remember Keystone Oaks? I graduated in '74. He goes, I was friends with Mickey Davila from Puerto Rico. I go, so was I. That was one of my best friends. He goes, if he didn't get hurt his senior year, he'd have beat me out.
That's incredible.
And that's a connection I had. He remembered the good teams we had in the 70s. He played against them. And I told him, my dad came home, and it was like 75, 74. He goes, Alan, I was at New Kent, and there's this B.B. Flannery. He's going to be a superstar.
Yes.
He told me that when I was graduating.
Yes.
So he shared that, and I shared it with him. It was great going out there. And Smoking does embellish a few things. He wasn't there long enough to really see the city.
He also doesn't know what embellish meant. Notice that he didn't laugh until he understood what you were saying.
Well, it didn't sink in, right? Okay, let's see. We got Ann Harder. Ben Franklin's grave is in Philadelphia. He might have made a mistake with John Hancock, so we understand that. This friend of mine, Kimberly Stein, she's watching the show. Such an interesting group with the humor and interesting sports info. Literally laughing when you're not even trying to be funny. Great job, all of you. That's a friend of mine.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
I'll take it as a compliment. All right, we got to go to Nick, VIP Callis, in 10 seconds.
All right, so I have opinions. Actually, just one. That's what this is. It's not a special edition. There's one opinion here. I wanted to talk about this a little bit because this is another thing we talked about on the radio station that, absolutely, it's fascinating to think about. And I personally would love Chip to be here tonight just to have this conversation perhaps another week because this is Henry Davis struck out on Friday against the San Diego Padres On a 3-2 count with the bases loaded, the Pirates were down a run. And the pitch was clearly very low and not hittable. Maybe Smoking Jim in his imagination he could have hit it. But really wasn't a good pitch to hit. So and it wasn't really close. So but Adam Crowley, guy, was like, you gotta fight that off, you gotta foul it off, you gotta be able to hit that pitch, And so my question just really is, at what point is a pitch too far outside of the zone, even if an umpire calls it a strike? Because I made a whole compilation video of pitches that were called strike 3 in at bats, and what point is it the pitch is too far to try to fight off? At what point is the major league hitter supposed to be granted that professionalism from the umpire, or that fair strike zone to not take that pitch, or to not swing at that pitch, take it, and then be rewarded for that? There is no, there's a 2-strike approach you can take in baseball to be safe if a pitch is literally close. But pitches outside the zone are outside the zone. At some point, they're not hittable, and that's why they're not strikes. So, again, how much is that 2-strike approach as a major league hitter? How much does that actually apply to a lot of these situations for major league hitters? I would argue not as much, because, again, these are the hardest pitchers to hit in the world. That's why they're playing Major League Baseball. So, and you're playing the hardest hitters to face. So you've got a lot of this going on, and some teams are better than others. I get that, but the quality of play among a good chunk of the players in Major League Baseball, they're going to clash, and it's not easy, right? It's not easy to do that stuff. Again, unlike Smoking Jim's imagination, it is a difficult sport. For that reason, that pitch on Henry Davis was a sinker. It was already dipping down, and Henry Davis read it correctly, and it indeed was not a strike upon further analysis. So I guess all this is just to say, yeah, bring in the automatic ball strike zone, right? Do that replay. But, I can't fault Henry Davis for not swinging at that pitch. And just as a general rule, umpires are human beings, but anything under 100% is swaying the game one way or another. They got a lot more higher scores than they have before. That's been proven, if we're talking about balls and strikes. There's a whole website on that now, analyzing umpires, but anything under 100% could change a game. You change 5 or 6 pitches in a baseball game, it changes the whole entire
Particularly
game.
when the technology exists.
Yes.
That's what I have a tough time wrapping my brain around. When it's going to change? When that happens in a World Series or against the Yankees or the Dodgers. No one's going to know about it when it happens with the Pirates.
Well, they'll be in it the next 10 years.
There you go. So it's bound to happen, right?
Well,
do we fault Henry Davis, right?
I'll get historic with you. One of the best bad ball hitters out of the strike zone was Roberto Clemente.
Yes, sir.
He could hit a ball 6 to 8 inches outside the plate and hit line drives. Manny Sanguine was another guy. There's a few others, even the Alou brothers and stuff that I saw in the 70s. On the games that you played, they may have even shown a guy could hit a ball outside the strike zone. I don't know if it shows on the games like that.
No, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm saying a guy that's traditionally like that, it would be programmed into the game. So if you pulled up a game with Roberto Clemente and threw it outside, he would hit those.
And this is no offense to baseball of the before time. I want to make this clear.
No, I'm not trying to judge.
It is way harder to hit pitches now than it was back then. There were half of the pitches that exist in Major League Baseball were not around back in those times. So back then, that was the approach, because pitchers weren't. Clemente played. The year of the pitcher had happened. They were, the velocity was getting up there for a lot of pitchers, but it still wasn't like it is now, where you've got all these pitches and they can move in either direction. And because of that, they're hard to hit, because pitchers are really good at using their pitches that move to set up other pitches, and it's a whole mind game, and it's crazy. That's just how it is. But before, it was a little bit easier. Even I was talking about in Little League or the younger leagues, you want to protect with 2 strikes, because all the quality is diminished. You don't expect umpires to get everything right, because they're umpires that are just, I wouldn't expect myself to be super high quality.
Nick, I got a question.
Yeah.
When you had 2 strikes, did your coaches ever tell you to choke up on a bat like they told us?
Yeah, I had some coaches say
Okay, well, the major leagues for years, Ty Cobb and everybody else would choke up 2 inches or more, and they had control of a bat like this and that. They could hit anything. Didn't matter hard, fast. And they had to go against spitballs, Vaseline balls, tobacco balls. And they did something unusual in the dead ball era. You only played with one ball. So imagine how the ball was. When they said they literally hit the cover off of a ball, we did it when we played because the strings would be loose. So that was happening in major leagues.
Yeah, everything's different.
Now I'm just saying generational, it's different. But I believe some of the guys that had the hand and eye coordination like Barry Bonds, they could overcome it no matter what era they were in to some degree.
Yeah.
Just, as a counterpoint of opinion.
No.
Just an opinion.
It all makes sense. That's fine. I mean, I'm always going to contest, and there's no surprise to anybody that watches this show regularly, that I do believe that quality has gotten better over time for the average player in the league. And
I can agree.
Like a power fastball in the 90s was 90 miles per hour. And now it is like 102 is a power fastball, right? So we've got that evolution in the game. And ultimately, when you have those higher velocities, it is going to be harder to hit because you have less time. And the players prepare for it. We got all these moving pitches now, like I'm talking about. So I think it was a little easier in those eras. Not that, again, no disrespect to the older eras, because I guess the word easier might not be taken in a great context.
Yeah.
But I think that it was simpler compared to now to recognize some of those pitches to fight them off. And the umpires back in the day were also very not great quality. I mean, I think we can all agree with that. They were a lot worse. The strike zone was very big.
Variable.
Very big,
yes.
Right, very big. So, again, eras are different. Everything's fine. I think now, though, where you have such high competition, such intense competition, money-driven competition, right? Big-time, showy, entertainment, money competition. And you have a mechanism to be able to get that stuff right. Get it right. Just implement it. Everybody wants it. I don't know anybody but Chip that wouldn't be even just half as interested.
I'm old school, but it's coming. They use it in the minors and everything else. Look, we had the pitch clock come in, sped up the game a little bit, so it's all good, whatever happens. And I'm old school. Hey, a friend of yours is watching. First time watching this, Harry, who the other three guys on the panel. Well, we've only been doing this show 14 years ago. I brought Nick on about 4 years ago, or
I came on in January of 2021. So
I brought him on because the guy sitting next to him has been one of the original panelists, Smoking Jim Frazier from downtown Monroeville without basketball courts. And we got Mike Rohde, who's the father of one of the cameramen and related to a lot of people that help out at the studio. He started as a volunteer guy, and he said he knew sports, and he's talking to us. I said, I'm going to ask you to be on sometime. So I surprised him. And he was sort of like Nick. When I asked him on, Nick knows sports. He goes, what am I going to talk about? I go, you had one of the best professors, and you studied sports journalism, and he's still on the show, and he's on the Fan. So I gave him the start back then, and we're working on our 1,000th show. Come on out, support Harry here. We call him VIP, so we can argue about that, whether he's Harry Hardball or not. In sports, we all like nicknames. I'm the talking machine. We'll go back to Harry.
I do have some quick context, though, because this is actually hilarious. This has nothing to do with sports opinions or anything. But, no, on Facebook, I was trying to adjust some settings, and I stumbled into this message that said, your account is not authenticated. We need you to authenticate some stuff. For security reasons, whatever. Well, I authenticated this stuff. And a mountain of Facebook friend requests just
an avalanche
just came in. So now I got all these people just being able to see my stuff now. Like, I guess stuff on my page wasn't getting out there beyond the people I interact with closely.
Right.
But now, like, fans all over are just like, oh, hey, friends. So
no, congrats to you, and that's good. And
so somebody found it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mary, for tuning in, seeing Harry there. We call him Nick. Paul Haley, Pete Rose would choke up and punch singles out every game he played. We appreciate that.
It's a shame he gambled when he was a manager.
Yeah, Johnny Mariano said, really, really looking forward to the 1,000th show. Can I bring a date? No offense meant, but you have a wife. Brandy's not a sports girl, but she can come and watch her son do the control room, so we're good. All right, we got to go to Raging Roadie time.
Ooh. I'm on? Okay. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm mad about this or not, but I will say this. I've been in HR for a long time professionally.
How many years?
25.
Wow.
But I always...
You got credibility then.
I always tell people, and this, feel free to use this, if you have to think about it for a minute, don't do it. Whether say it, action, whatever. If you got to think about it. So I got really sad for this 16-year-old girl out in California, right?
Okay.
Who won the state championship as a sprinter.
Oh, I just saw something.
Yeah, and her father handed her a fire extinguisher so she could, do the meme of spraying off her
fire,
feet.
yeah.
And she got disqualified. She won the state championship and she got disqualified for that. So the reason I brought up that you have to think about it for a minute, I feel bad for that girl because she had a father who, the one who handed it to her, either thought that and
he thought it to do it. Yeah.
Well, but he either thought maybe I shouldn't do this and did it anyway, or didn't have the foresight to even have that go through his head.
Didn't.
Because it's a real shame that a 16-year-old, that the father kind of set this up to happen, that the father couldn't think. Again, I'm not sure which side I'm mad at. The 16-year-old and probably more so the father for enabling this kind of behavior, or the people, is it an overreaction that they took a state title away from her from doing it? But where do you draw the line? I mean, now you've obviously got high school kids emulating with these celebrations, these ridiculous celebrations, these anti-sportsmanlike celebrations to see at the pros,
right.
And it trickles its way down, and that's just how they're doing it. Again, I'm blaming the father more here, but I'm not sure who I'm more upset. It's going to have to sit in, but it's really a shame that this girl didn't have an influence in her life to say, take a step back and think about that for a second. Might this be a problem? And probably is going to be the biggest moment of her sporting life ever. And it was taken away from her because of bad decisions all over. So were they right to take it away? Again, I'm not sure where this lands. I'm not sure where it falls, but it's a real shame. It's a lack of sportsmanship ultimately is what caused it.
All right. Think about that. Ponder that. Thanks for watching the show. Remember, July 15th, Bethel Park Community Center. Please stay Joey strong.